Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to our show, My Spiritual GPS. This is your host, Vivian S. de Guzman, your number one money magnet activator and your human MRI. So, what is My Spiritual GPS? So, it is what we call our God positioning system, right? So, you know where you are right now, currently in your life. And a lot of us, we look for what is that ideal life for us. And sometimes in the middle of that journey, we sometimes get lost along the way because we look for other people to show us what that purpose is. So today we're going to talk about clarity, confidence, and compass in your soul purpose so that we can help guide you from where you are, from where you really want to be with that ideal life, living your aligned soul purpose. And I have invited one of our practitioners at Transformational Wellness Academy. Her name is Vienna Dunham, and you've seen her in my shows before. And I am so happy that she has decided to join us today. Welcome, Vienna. How are you?
Doing so well. Thank you, Vivian. It's a lovely Tuesday.
Yes, it is. I was posting on Facebook today and I called it Transformation Tuesday. So, like, what is it that you want to transform, right, or change in your life? Well, we know that change is pretty obvious right now, right, with everything that's going on in life, right, with government, even with a lot of systems that we used to know. It's almost becoming very, very chaotic. And I know a lot of people are feeling kind of some of them hopeless, and some people are looking for that path, that direction. So let's share with the group what happened last weekend because we just finished our manifestation booster. We call that Kickstart Your Money Flow. So, what did you sense in the audience who attended that virtual healing intensive retreat?
That's a great question. I think my primary thing that I observed was hope that they
Mm,
came away with. They came in feeling that chaos from the world around, and then
right?
they came in together, and there were comments about the sense of community and being heard and felt and seen and then supported. So everybody's like, it was kind of like, have you ever seen somebody sit on a chair that is a bit wobbly and it's like they don't
Mhm.
quite sit down with all their weight,
Mm,
right? It's
yeah.
kind of on edge, waiting for the next shoe to drop or the chair to fall over. And what I sensed in people's countenance, I love that it was video,
Yes.
and I love that you had as many as could be live with you, because then they were actually able to be in each other's presence. And even those of us that could only come by Zoom, there
Hmm.
was a sense of, ah, I can
Yeah.
relax and go ahead and sit all the way down. Nothing's going to happen
Mm,
in the space of this weekend that can throw me off kilter. So just
yeah.
knowing, arriving in that space of safety and knowing, oh, this is possible.
Hmm.
Then as we teach them tools, we did in the weekend several tools, and then what's coming up in the class coming up, there'll be more tools given. And then
Yeah.
as they see them, implement them,
Hmm.
feel that settledness, and
Hmm.
then know that they can go there in the future. I think that's what I think gave the hope.
Oh, thank you.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm going to share with them a little bit of what we talked about over the weekend, right, at Manifestation Booster. So the first thing, I'm going to put it on the screen so everybody knows what we're talking about. So the first thing we did was we had Elena Chapman. She facilitated our drum circle, and that was beautiful. I was so grateful that Elena was there with us. and showed us that a lot of the bumps and the obstacles along the way, sometimes those are necessary in order for us to finally say, I don't like this kind of life and I prefer this one. And we shared with them what is their human design. So I'm going to show it on the screen. All right, so you probably don't see us, Vienna and I, and that's okay. So I'm just going to share this with you because we talked about their human design, right? So human design is a subject matter that was popularized by the teacher Ra Uru Hu, and we have several different centers in our body, right? The head center, we call that the crown, for inspiration, anxiety, and any mental pressure that we have. So a lot of times when we have it white or blank, we shouldn't really have any other thoughts or anxiety or mental pressure. However, a lot of us were conditioned by society to overthink and overanalyze and get overwhelmed. And then we have the Ajna Center for any concepts that come along the way. Our throat center for our communication and manifestation and action. That's why it's so important that we say things. You know how in the law of attraction they talk about saying positive things, because if you keep on saying negative things, that's really what's going to happen in your life. You're like bringing it to fruition, right? And then you have your identity self center for your self direction and love. Your heart center is for your ego and willpower. Then we have your solar plexus for your emotions, feelings, and nervousness. And then we also have your the middle part is your sacral center, right? Let me see if I always have trouble doing this. Like, why is it always gets in the way? So let me remove that. Yay! Sacral center is for your sexuality in your life. Splenic center is for your intuition, your instinct, your fear, and your immune system. In the body, it's on the left side, okay? And your root center is your life fuel, pressure, and stress. And a lot of times, people have money problems and then they feel it there. They feel like, oh, I got to do something. I got to do something. But I can tell you if that area, root center, is blank or white, you shouldn't really feel pressure. But if you feel pressure, it's not coming from you. It's coming from someone else reflecting back to you their own pressure, like their own pressure to make money, their own pressure to like, I got to do something. I got to finish this project, right? So I happen to have a blank root center and a blank crown or head center. So literally that's how I learn how to read people, because I can sense what they're thinking and feeling down there, right? In the root center, if they have any money concerns or any issues or pressure in their life, right? So we did the drumming circle and then we talked about their human design. We focused on their incarnation cross because their incarnation cross would help them understand that that is their purpose in life. Okay. The incarnation cross, like I happen to have right angle cross of penetration. Like literally, I just get to the heart of it, get to the bottom of what's causing the issue. And then Vienna, do you mind sharing what is your incarnation cross?
Gladly. It's right angle cross of tension.
Okay,
So
and share with them what that means.
yes. So my design is to create tension in the sense of like inspire people to notice their tension and then release it. So that's
Exactly. So yeah, the clarity of everyone, right? It really depends on what is their sole purpose. Because a lot of times, now that's one component. That's not all it is, right? Because they still need to know, well, what's your profile? Like, how do you move personally and how do you move out in the world? What is your type and authority? And I know I did a class, I actually did a TV show on the different types of human design. I happen to be a generator and Vienna is a projector.
Right.
And Therese Nadeau, our Oracle card master teacher, she's a reflector. So she reflects who you are. Like she can see your strengths and weaknesses. And then Pam Raynon is our human design teacher. So she will help you understand what is it, like who you are meant to be in this world. Like really just having the basics of human design will help you understand yourself at a deeper level. So for me, my aha moment there is, wow, my prosperity key and even Vienna's prosperity key is actually power or leadership. So when we act like a victim, we don't really become prosperous. Does this make sense? When
Absolutely.
when we're not in charge of our money flow and we depend on someone else to make decisions for us, it doesn't quite work. Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fascinating, right? It's like, is it that simple? I'm telling you, if your life is very complicated and you're having money issues, a lot of times, because you're not quite clear what kind of work you have to do, right? What kind of business, if you're a business owner, what kind of business do you have to set up? And these things are things we're going to cover when we do our program of Path and Purpose Blueprint. So, and Vienna, can you share with them when we went from, okay, so the shamanic drumming circle, and then I talked about human design, and then you came on to actually clear those negative emotions that the participants were feeling. Do you remember the emotions that you cleared for the group?
I will glance through and find my notes while we talk about things. There were a couple of them that we did individually, and then there were a few that we did as a group. So I will
Okay.
find that while you talk about something else because it was very.
Yeah, I remember one was stubbornness because I had it.
Exactly, exactly. And part of that is inflexibility. You know,
Ah,
like if
yeah.
we're a very stiff tree at a time like this in history,
Uh-huh.
big wind comes and you can just snap and fall over. You see trees all the time after a hurricane, and yet like a willow tree or something that's got more of that
Mm-hmm.
bendability, we
Yes.
those can bend in the wind. So we want to be that kind of not stubborn. We want to clear stubbornness from our history so that we can be flexible in times like this. So you're
Okay.
absolutely right. That was one of them.
I'm going to read what stubbornness is while you're looking, right? So for the
Yes.
audience, I just want to share with you based on the Emotion Code app that Vienna has used. Stubbornness means being difficult, unbendable, unable or unwilling to forgive, obstinate, headstrong, and resistant. You know how we learn how to do things a certain way, right? And maybe our family has taught us to be a certain way, even with them or with other people. Unfortunately, as you move through basically bringing your organization or creating that, let's say for your own business, and then you're still operating from, well, being stubborn, right? Because it's like, this is how I've done it and it's worked for me. But then as you bring yourself up to be an entrepreneur, for example, or to be a healer, right? It doesn't matter what you're building, depending again on your human design. And that's what we teach in the Path and Purpose Blueprint. Because in the past, I was in network marketing. And then I was okay the first few years. And then when my team got bigger, it was like 1,000+ people. I started not feeling good, but because I wasn't designed to be a networker, I was designed to form a small unit with 3 to 12 people. So if you don't know your human design, right? If you don't know your
Yep.
design Mars specifically, you can create something and then you're like, I'm really not happy after you've already wasted 3, 4 years of your life, right? Which
Right.
you could be just being happy, making money, building your team, but the right kind of people will come to you when you're in your own flow, in your own path and purpose.
That's
That's the
exactly
beauty of
right.
that.
Hmm.
Yes.
So I found my list.
Yay. Okay. So
Anyway,
what are the
so
negative emotions we process for people?
it was self-abuse, and I'd like to read that definition because
Okay.
I had always classified it as, oh, people who had severe addictions or something, and I found myself rather implicated in this one. Had to change my mind about some things. So abusing the self emotionally includes negative self-talk, and
Wow.
somehow I know not to talk negatively about others, and
Mhm.
yet I would say all kinds of negative things to myself because I felt like I deserved it.
Wow. Delete all that, Vienna.
Exactly.
Delete, delete, delete.
I'm so working on this. So
Yes.
it was partly because of finding it through emotion code. So another way is blaming the self. So like abusing the self physically includes mistreating the body by use of addictive substances, to not care for the body by lack of sleep,
Mm.
proper diet, or nutrition, to work beyond what one can or should endure, to punish or tax oneself excessively. This abuse may help atone for sins, real or imagined,
Yep.
and usually is driven by anger. And even illness can be a form of self abuse, with the thought behind it being, I don't deserve to be healed.
Wow.
Clear, clear, clear.
That.
And
Yes,
so
so we
we
did a
invite our
emotion
yep,
code clearing, right? We did
yep,
all this.
we invite our viewers because probably all of us have said something not nice to our younger selves.
Yep.
And so when something comes to mind, a word is mentioned and something comes to mind for you, it's now brought up from subconscious to conscious, and that's when we can clear it by sweeping over the governing meridian with our magnetic fingertips. So we
Mhm.
invite everyone to join along, gain
All
the
right.
benefit. So another was hopelessness.
Oof,
So
hopelessness.
that's fairly easy to understand, but I'll read the definition. Devoid of hope, having no expectation of good, having no remedy or cure, no prospect of change or improvement. And I'd say there's a lot of that going on right now. It's like just when you thought it was safe to come out of the closet, or then whoosh, somebody else is saying something. And so a lot of people find that hopelessness. So let's sweep that away. If there's something that comes to your mind about, oh, will we ever be able to have a normal life again? So I like to just do 10 sweeps. That usually covers anything. And the another one that came up was unsupported. Ooh, how many of us have felt that? A lack of support, help, or encouragement, not provided for by another, not defended when help is needed, feeling the burden is too heavy to bear alone, etc. So let's clear that one. If if any part of that resonates for you, I invite you to do these little sweeps over that midline of your body, just down to the base of your neck. Whew, do a little movement. And a lot of times people describe, oh, I feel lighter. I feel like a weight has come off of me. So feel free to chime in the chat, if anything
Yeah,
comes to
definitely.
mind. Yeah.
Yes. And so after the viewers and the participants actually had this healing with Vienna, we went and did some balancing. We call Feng Shui your mind, body, and spirit. And I remember one of the participants, Amy, said, oh my God, I had this shoulder, neck pain, and then it just disappeared. So after Vienna did the emotion code, and then I started doing the balancing of the organ system, right? The liver, the heart, the spleen, the lungs, and the kidneys. They're like, I'm so relaxed.
It was a beautiful sight.
It was, it was. And after that, we invited them actually to have to allow themselves to journal, right, for the
Yes.
night,
Yes.
because things will come up. And so, do you remember the very next morning? Okay, because we said, okay, so what happened? Tell us. So we were asking them to bring up their aha moments, right? So some of them had some deep dreams. I remember Beckett said that there was a person talking to her and said, hey, would you like to relocate to another state in order for us to do some projects together? So that was great, right? And I remember, Vienna, some of the other testimonials that they've had the next morning. Some people just felt relaxed, right? Some
Yes.
people didn't have dreams.
Yeah. So a few had dreams that were significant enough that they thought to mention them, and a
Yep.
few that often have dreams slept so solidly that it was remarkable to them to not have dreams. And somebody else seems like had a dream, and it was someone that they had seen come to them at various times, and we were able to help resolve that. And it was like, you know, what does that mean? What does that mean? And the clarity came, and we were able to
Yes,
release that kind of longer term question inside. So
it is.
so
It is.
beautiful. So for all the fact that it's group,
Uh-huh.
uh, some of us think, oh, I really like that one-on-one personal thing, and that's fabulous. That you can do such a deep dive in that, and yet it was so remarkable to see when you're doing the supportive energies and we're doing the group emotion code and then the cards that Therese did. It was like
Mm,
everybody in the group it was resonating for all of them, like, oh my gosh. So there's one that stands out to me is the people who come were called to be there.
yeah.
If you're watching this, every chance that it's resonating with you.
Mhm.
And the program that we're talking about today could really be your next step, because there was so much continuity for the different people. Everybody was just amazed, like, wow, we're really all have some significant similarities here. So you
Mm.
see that in a group, and then also the supportiveness. So one of the trapped emotions had been unsupported, and people expressed feeling so supported in that container that you had constructed for us to have this group experience in, that
Mhm.
the empathy, I don't even know all the words that would describe, that when somebody would mention something, everybody else was on board. Hey, have you thought of this? Have you ever looked into this?
Yeah,
Take some breaths, do this. And we were able to benefit from every person's gifting. It was quite remarkable.
it
So,
was. And actually, we had a staff meeting Monday morning, and remember Amy, our copywriter, was there, who
mhm.
also experienced the healing, and she said, you need to repeat this virtual healing intensive retreat because it was really good. So I'm going to be putting that on the calendar either before the end of this year or by the beginning of next year. We're going to do that again for Manifestation Booster because
Okay.
uh, she really loved the energy of it, right? Remember, it was all for healing. It was about you. It was about your manifestation. So whether it's a money issue, whether it is a health issue, or it's a relationship issue, because we've noticed, remember the moon circles that we were doing, and
Mhm.
a lot of them are ending their 6 month term next month, right? We do those healings like twice a month. And we noticed that when there is a group of people with a common goal, so in this particular case, right, it's called Path and Purpose Blueprint,
Mhm.
because we have a blueprint, which is a hands-on healing protocol, meaning you have to touch certain body parts
Mhm.
and connect them with one another
Yes.
so that you can get this awakening, almost like your aha moment of, oh my God, I was put on this earth for something.
Yes.
Now, by the way, that's the way you're going to make money. There's no other way around this because
Right.
people think, oh, that's okay. I'm just going to hold this job and I'm going to have a business. So I look at that as straddling. So if you've been
Mhm.
straddling forever, you're riding two separate boats with one foot on each boat. And when one moves faster, it could be your job or it could be your business starts to move faster that it actually requires more support. You cannot do it alone.
Mm.
We know that, Vienna, right? Because you've been with me a few months now. When
Yeah.
your business starts to grow, you cannot be a solopreneur
Mm-mm.
all the time
Right.
because yeah.
Becomes the ceiling.
Yes, so then your income also has a ceiling. And no matter how hard you work, yeah, sure, you can make $1 million by yourself without paying anybody, but that also means you're going to burn out.
Right.
That's just what it means. I
Right.
mean, that's the reality of it.
And if you think about what is that poverty mindset of, if I give away money to someone else, I'll have less. And yet, what are those universal principles of give and it shall be given back to you?
Right.
When we have rightly aligned people to help us, we bring them on board, they're supported, they're supporting us, so we're supported. And then we have so much more capacity. We get to help more people. Most of the people entering your field, our spheres of influence,
Yep.
everyone on the team, are heart-centered healers and people who want to give back. That's
Yes.
why they land in our space and or why we're drawn to each other. So when you can follow your heart, and that's your goal, to be giving into the lives of others and receiving back appropriate recompense for that, payment for that service, then it just begins to move faster and faster, where you can give more, you receive more, you bring other people in who then have their specialties, and then that takes stress off of you. Because I haven't met anybody yet that is perfectly attuned to everything. I've met people who are jack of all trades, master of none. I've worn that hat before, but I was actually given a gift that's when I shine. That's what lights me up. So the more time I can spend in that and appropriate self-care,
Yep.
and therefore putting to other people's plates who that lights them up,
Yes.
Isn't it more and more light in the world? What can we say? So
Yes.
just shifting that mindset from, if I give away some of it or pay someone else, I have less. It's that bad math, not how it works in this arena.
No, and it's really wearing that CEO hat, right? So even for me, I've invested in a lot of coaching and mentoring programs that actually elevate not just me, but my whole team, right?
Right.
Because once I stay in my lane, can you imagine? Because I remember when I was first starting, I was the CEO, but then I'm like, whoa, no, but this marketing, somebody's got to do this. And then I still have my hand there, right? It's like, oh, the emotion code. Are you sure you're doing this correctly? It's kind of like you have to learn to trust
Yes.
the practitioner. So like Vienna is an excellent, excellent emotion code practitioner. Why? Because she's been through it. You think of us as if like, oh, you got it figured out. But you probably don't see all the difficulties and all the dark nights of the soul that we have to go through in order to be where we are today. And you have to give yourself permission to be okay releasing your old self to bring up your new self to the table, right? Because if you stay in the same playground that you're playing at and the same playmates you have,
Yep.
most likely you're not going to move up or forward because you want to be comfortable. Growth is a little bit uncomfortable, really. Some people a lot uncomfortable, right?
So true. And I think I'd have thrown in the towel long ago if it weren't for the support of you and the other people on our team and growing friends, friends who've also chosen to be willing to expand.
Exactly.
So I love it was a popular poster, and actually, I believe it's an Old Testament scripture of Lord, expand my borders and my influence. And we like the sound of that, that we want to have more. And it also means there's more of everything.
Yeah.
There's more things to tend to, more challenges, more this, more that. And yet my stated desire was to be able to have positive influence on more people, help more and more people find freedom from trapped emotions and trapped tension in their bodies, mind, soul, spirit, the whole bit, help them release. So I need to be willing to
release that too.
move to the bigger playground and allow other people to support me. So thanks for all of your support on that.
You're welcome. All right, so we're going to tell you what this path and purpose blueprint is not, okay? So if you don't like or accept change, then this is not for you, because within 3 months or 90 days, your life is going to change. So how is your life going to change if you are making more money or you're more clear and confident as to where you're going based on your soul purpose, right? So it's also not for you if you deny that you still have some emotional baggage or you insist in holding on to it. Not for you. It's also not for you if you have issues going against the collective. 75 to 80% of people right now, they look like ostrich with their head in the sand and don't want to know. They don't want to look. And I'm like, where are you going? I don't know. I don't know. Let the government decide. Oh my gosh, you guys have to release that. You have to know what you're meant to do in this planet based on your human design, your incarnation cross. Or perhaps you don't believe you deserve a good life and you're not willing to change. That's
yeah. And I'm going to tie it back in with what you said earlier about people with the open head center or the open root center. And I just thought that was so valuable what you shared, that sometimes there are things that are driving us and we don't even know it's not ours. And the freedom that comes with just going, oh my goodness, it's frustrating to think, really, that I have let that drive my life, and yet we don't know what we don't know. What can we say?
Exactly. So when my mind is busy like that, because I have an open head, right? Open crown.
Yep.
I go, oh my God, I don't know whose thought is this. So I go outside, I walk outside, I just look at the trees, the sky, and breathe and release all thoughts. Because obviously that's not mine. And I'm not willing to entertain my mother's thoughts, my brother's thoughts, my client's thoughts, because that's their thoughts.
Yep.
Nothing to do with me, right? But if you keep on entertaining their thoughts, you can't focus on your goals. You can't focus on you or your business. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I think of the word diluted.
Yeah,
We have a very concentrated, powerful calling on our life. And if we dilute it with everybody else's stuff and feeling, kind of the hero savior mentality, like, oh, I have to fix all of their problems, we'll miss our destiny. And honestly, Vivian, they'll miss theirs. If I'm trying to drive their truck, guess what? They're not driving it, and I'm not driving mine. So
yes. So let's see who's this path and purpose blueprint for. You're willing to equip yourself with practical tools to fully leap into your purpose. You're willing to face and heal your old wounds and triggers. In fact, a lot of the participants love that we have 3 privates with you, Vienna, and 3 privates with an oracle card master reader and teacher, Therese. And there's a human design reading with Pam. And it came with a journal. It's a journal with prompts about your human design, right? So you cannot try to be in certain molds that fit other people, but not you, because you're unique, you're special. So you have to bring out your specialness into this world, because We all depend on one another. And when you are showing up as the best version of you, you can't help but attract people to you, right? So all those things inside your head that just says, "Oh, I don't know, if they're going to hire me, they're probably going to hire you over me," that's just a negative self-talk.
Mhm.
That's probably something you heard from your parents a long time ago, not yours, or somebody that said, or maybe they bullied you and you just don't know how to deal with it then.
Yeah.
Now, if you're ready to change at lightning speed and transform, because 90 days, right? There is no
Yes.
time. I love this speed. You know why? Because if you're so slow, you usually put your own obstacles in front of yourself. Unfortunately,
Right. It's true. Oh, I
your
haven't even
mind comes
explained
up with
anything.
excuse.
Let me bring these things. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
And
success loves speed. And when I'm
yes,
doing it at turtle pace, I haven't
yes.
found a lot of success in that ride.
So focus on just one thing, right? Let's start with yourself. And then you can start building this business because even if everybody else is criticizing you, right? Because you're trying something new, especially if it hasn't been done before. People will talk about you and your program like crazy. And then you're like, well, have you done this? Because, like if you've done it, I'll listen to you. But if you haven't really done anything that I'm doing,
Yeah.
I just want to say, oh, thank you for your opinion, because it's an opinion. I don't
Yes.
need to listen to that, right?
Yep.
And you deserve a life full of purpose. So I'm going
Yes.
to share them this link, viviandeguzman.com/path and purpose blueprint. And we had a bonus, right? So obviously the bonus we had at the event, unfortunately, that's off the table, but we're giving you a physical product, a 90-day journal. This was actually designed, the cover was designed by Dr. Ronisa Matero, who's going to be our accountability coach, aside from the other 3 to 4 healers there in the program. And I'm going to also send you a copy of my physical book, Awaken Your Medical Intuition, which is a
Beautiful.
#1 best-selling book, so that you can learn some energetic tools along the way. So if you'd like to join us, because we're going to get started, right, the end of September, either a Wednesday or a Thursday is our group sessions. And obviously, we have different options to pay in full or a 2-pay, which is basically you got all those bonuses. And we're going to be in a Facebook group, Path and Purpose Blueprint Healing Protocol plus Human Design, because it's really a hands-on healing tool. If you pay in full, you get to access and book your appointments with these beautiful healers. Vienna, 3 privates, right? And also Therese, 3 privates, right? For Oracle card reading, so that you're really guided. Like, what am I going to do, right? With this 90 days? Because your life, by the end of this year, if you really want it to change, it is really going to change for you, right? It's not for anybody.
Yep. I love the timing of this, Vivian, where we're going to fill up the last 3 months of the year with transformational activity and then break forth into that new year.
Yes,
2022, here we
yes.
go.
But because our theme, our TWI team this month is actually about trust.
Yes.
So inside, if you're being called to finally know who you are at a deep level, because once you know the basics of your human design, right? And that's what we offer in this 90-day program. Don't look at everybody else. Look at yourself and say, oh, I meant to do this. Okay, so this is what's right for me. It's not what everybody says, it's
Right?
what your design says. Because
Yes.
if you know what that is, I mean, a lot of people are generators and manifesting generators. Like, I'm a generator. I'm supposed to wait to respond. So even before the event, I was mapping, okay, what do these people, the one that said yes to themselves, right? What do they need? Because I always look at the group.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, right, the offer changed because I wanted to beef it up. I wanted to improve it from the previous program we did 3 months ago. And that's part of me. I always create something better and better. And until we find what fits the group well, it'll keep on changing for the better because it's what they need at that time. So we had 4 beautiful souls so far sign up, right, for our Path and Purpose Blueprint. So I invite you because we're closing the door, like the last day would be tomorrow. And we'll be closing this door for the Path and Purpose Blueprint. And so if you are interested in joining us, you can definitely go and sign up right here. Path and Purpose Blueprint, right? My website, viviandeguzman.com, and you're going to find it there. Otherwise, Vienna, what can you share with people who are kind of afraid? Like, people say, oh, I'm going to lose the money, right?
Right. I do have something to share, Vivian, that I've heard before, and it was just brought home to me again this weekend.
Okay.
And it was the concept that, like, who do I go to help me with decisions? And typically, it had been my peers, the people I had been hanging around with, or family members. And very few of them were doing what I wanted to do or living out their purpose at the level that I want to live my purpose out, or having the kind of income to be able to have and share that I want to have and share. And so somebody brought up recently, wait, who do you think you should ask how to make a gourmet meal?
Okay.
My chef son, who's been cooking for 10 years, or my 5-year-old granddaughter.
Your chef's son?
Oh, okay. So why not? Why not allow people to speak into your life who've been there and done that?
Yeah.
So Teresa, she has gotten insight in her life from those cards that she uses, and she has offered it to others and seen results. And you do what you do beautifully, and I've received amazing transformation from emotion code. So I said, I am going to learn this and I am going to offer it. And so I've been able to help many, many people release old baggage, So who do you want to get help from? The people that you've always tried to get help from. And let's say they were helpful and they brought you to the point you are. If you're happy where you are, like Vivian said, this isn't for you. It's okay. No judgment there. Find what's right for you. And if this is right for you, don't fear paying, investing in yourself. It's not, I wouldn't even call it an expense or a payment. I'd say an investment because it is going to pay dividends. And if you're willing, if it's time for you to invest in you, then let's do this. Let's do it together. Let's link arms together and go forward. Run to our purpose.
Yeah, so we can have a great Christmas ahead of us, right? I mean, can you imagine if you actually declutter your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual plane?
Yeah.
What would happen even if the pandemic is still here next year? Which it could be, right?
Okay.
Life has changed significantly for most people. So instead of you sitting there doing the same thing over and over again, why not heal? So for those of you who still need some form of healing and guidance and direction, right? Using like your oracle cards, releasing the negative emotions and really knowing what your purpose is based on your human design, not mine, not Vienna's, but yours, join us. Okay? So I want to thank you all for being here today. And if this is not the right path for you, definitely it's okay, right? The next thing would probably be waiting for you, right? Whatever that is. You're going to know because you're going to be called to do it if it is right for you. All right. Well, thank you, Vienna, for joining us today. And for those of you who are going to be joining us, we want to welcome you to our family. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a great day ahead of you. Bye for now.